Liam Neeson would love to come back to Star Wars. Who wouldn't? I want to come back. I want to be in Star Wars, let alone come back to Star Wars, right? Jeez.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's our Monday show, so we're going to give our takes on the latest news going on with Star Wars. A lot of different stuff, actually, this week, so it's cool. It's going to be a cool Resistance report. James and Lacey with me, as always. How you guys doing? What's going on? We just got off doing a stream with the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmodown folks, and we are just being thrown right into the mix. They're kind of dangling us like carrots for this draft and stuff. So how you guys feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It seemed like there was a lot of positivity about I guess I'm new to this wrestling thing, like our personalities, I guess is what they're looking at, which is pretty cool. I think we've worked for a long time to kind of work on our chemistry and online kind of presence. So hopefully all that pays off. I think the Schmodown is awesome. And, I think any of us would love to be part of it, but I specifically have been a fan for a while. So yeah, it'd be pretty cool. And thanks for having us on the show. That was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. I somehow came out as a villain. I don't even know how it happened. It just happened. But I'm not
Lacey,
a villain.
Fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger.
I am not a bad guy. But no, I'm new to the Schmodown scene, and I know of it. I know the people that are in it. I don't know very much else. But it doesn't mean I don't know Star Wars and other things. So I think that's what I'm coming in with. And just like a, hey, this could be fun attitude. And more than anything, I'm really cheering you guys on because I know you guys are fans and you've watched stuff before and you've talked about it before. So I'm pumped for you guys. So if I don't get drafted, it's kind of one of those things that I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. But I'll be like your biggest fan.
I feel like you're going to get picked before we would, just because I think you have like a better social media presence. I think they liked you better clearly on that show.
I think it might just be that it was just me. I was making fun of myself a lot.
Yeah, it was either way. It was fun,
They love the hashtags and they definitely came up with some good ones.
Yeah, I think it was just like kind of like the poking fun, self-deprecation type stuff.
That was a good time though. So if you want your fearless TRB leaders to be in the Schmodown, go tweet at Christian Harloff and tell him that you want to see TRB in the Schmodown, because you'll watch the Schmodown if TRB's in the Schmodown. And I think I said Schmodown enough, but
I did get excited about the inner geekdom thing too. Like the idea that we could maybe be pulled into something that's not Star Wars, because I don't think people understand how much stuff I know that's not necessarily just Star Wars.
True. The only thing I would not be good at for that is the Lord of the Rings thing. But
aren't you on a team?
Oh,
No?
Is that a team thing? I think it's both. But
all you need to know is what is potatoes.
Potatoes and hairy feet is a big thing.
What is
hairy
Mordor?
But we're here to talk Star Wars, TRB style, back in the mix with the Resistance report. So, James, what's the deal? What's going on this week?
It's the Resistance.
Well, John, do me a quick little favor. Ask me if I want to do the Resistance report.
Hey, James, do you want to do the Resistance report?
Sure, I'd be up for that. Yeah. That's our first story, guys. Liam Neeson was recently asked about his opinion on Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's coming. Asked if the Collider said, "Hey, would you be interested in returning to the character of Qui-Gon? This show's coming up." And long story short, I mean, the whole article really is, sure, I'd be up for that. Yeah. He does mention, that he doesn't. He says he hasn't come across any like fan theories and other things like that. But at the end of the day, the headlines they read as Liam Neeson would be set to return. He would want to do it. He's excited if they were to ask him. So, John, let's talk about that a little bit. Liam Neeson coming back. He's finally gotten his voice out there a little bit about getting back into Star Wars. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just funny. It's there's so many of those situations, and I think the biggest comparison you can make, fittingly enough, is Ewan McGregor himself having been asked time after time over the years, would you come back to play Obi-Wan, when he revealed after its announcement that I've known about this for 4 years. So the fact that this show is filming in March with your lead, and it's already written, he knows whether he's in the show or not. That's what it boils down to. And it's one of those things that, sure, do we want that moment where we all expect him to pop up somewhere as that apparition, and be surprised in our seats at home on our couches watching Disney Plus, but in the back of our mind knowing we're expecting it, but it's almost like you can't be surprised by that moment because we're all expecting it, right? So if it got out that he was in it, like confirmed by a trade, like the Ahsoka thing was with Rosario Dawson, I wouldn't be as mad about that, because it's almost like, well, yeah, no kidding that Liam Neeson's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, all due respect to Liam Neeson, I think he's an amazing actor, but he's in his late 60s now, and the type of runs of movies he was doing would be considered the straight to video type of action movies like 20 years ago. He's not exactly the marquee guy anymore. And that happens. Whatever. He's still working. He's still doing his thing. Of course he wants to come back and play Qui-Gon. He did a voiceover for the Clone Wars. Why wouldn't he come back in a live action with his buddy Ewan McGregor 21 years later? So this is all no-brainer stuff to me. I do respect that he's being coy about it and saying, I would love to do it. I haven't heard anything, blah, blah, blah. That just seems like here's your blueprint as an actor who can't reveal he's in something, or her can't reveal she's in something. Read that and just put whatever the title of the show or movie is in blank, and you read that, and that's your line. Oh, I haven't heard. I would love to do it, but I haven't heard anything. That's like, you hear that, and Ewan McGregor did the same thing. So yeah,
I think it's funny because the comment here is that he expressed surprise that anyone would want to see the character return, quoting, "I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard that at all." Like, I don't know, it just seems like so surprising and ridiculous that he would be like, "Oh, they want me to come back?" Like, you were in episode 1,
playing it too far to the I don't know.
Yeah. Lacey, what do you think about this story?
No, I totally agree with what you just said. Like, he's overcompensating for the I don't know. Like, what? Who's Qui-Gon? And you're like, come on, guy. You probably get asked about this, like, all the time. Like, Ewan McGregor, like John was saying. So it just doesn't make sense why, first of all, he wouldn't be in it, which I think we all can agree that he's definitely in the Kenobi series. I think we've discussed it before. Like, they need to explain how Obi-Wan learned about the Force Ghost stuff, which is somewhat connected to Liam Neeson's character. So why wouldn't they have that in the show that would then tie it to the rest of the original trilogy? It's just like you said, like, it's just so over the top. Like, what is Star Wars? What?
Yeah. I don't have a Twitter account.
Yeah, of course I would love to do it. Yeah, of course. Yes, because you are. We know it already. It's just that, he's probably got an NDA. Like, I think the only one that's more funny is the Katie Sackhoff stuff, when she was just like, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Like, that was more obvious than what he's doing, but
yeah, which really blew my mind still to this day, because she said all that stuff before season 1, and she didn't have any sort of thing until season 2. So maybe Liam Neeson is coming in Kenobi season 2, which is not happening and does not exist.
Right.
But you know what's interesting about Liam Neeson? He is, as I try to slyly Google his age right now,
maybe he forgot. He already signed the contract, and he's like, I haven't heard of that.
He's a ripe 68 years old. He filmed his parts as Qui-Gon Jinn when he was 45, but he's one of those guys that always kind of look like an old dude.
Yeah.
So I think they slap his little Qui-Gon wig on him and do the blurring with the ghost thing. Give him the beard. He can do it no problem. Like, he still looks good. He's in good shape. He's still beating people up.
He was born the same year as Bill Gill.
Bill Gill, who is your dad? Yeah.
My dad was younger than him. No,
and John, don't forget, if it was really bad, if it was noticeable, look what they did to Mark Hamill.
No, you're right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I hope he's not in it too much, where it's like a Dexter situation, where it's like his dad is just talking to him every episode.
After this podcast, John's getting a call. I will find you.
I will kill you. If you're near a bed, get under it.
How old did you say I was?
What kind of shoelaces are they wearing? No, yeah, I just think, I hope he does pop in there. I hope it's a big, dramatic, impactful scene. I want to see some Ewan tears. I want to see all that sort of thing. But I don't want him to, like, be in 5 of the episodes. You know? So.
I don't think he would. I mean, my gut says
yeah.
he would be in 1 episode as a Force Ghost. But, you know, they could always do the voiceover thing where, like, he feels like he's in the middle of something and he hears the voice and he's like, yes, master, like, kind of thing, like playing it off.
Well, kind of like how Obi-Wan did in A New Hope.
Right.
Run, Luke, run. Yeah. And he has one of those top 10 voices.
He does. I will find you.
Yeah. Like, he was like the lion in Lion Witch and the Wardrobe, right? Aslan.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made a book out of that movie?
I haven't thought that. I've thought about those in a while. The Lion Witch and Wardrobe stuff. Do you guys want to move on to the next story?
Yes, please.
Speaking
of books.
We got higher.
They call her Segway Gillerin around here, folks.
They really don't, but okay.
We got the High Republic coming in hot, right? Because Star Wars Light of the Jedi, the week after it released, was marked as a New York Times bestseller, which is pretty crazy considering, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. We can get into it a little bit here, but it's a Star Wars book, and it's kind of like people are kind of unsure about it. But is it because people trust the author? Is it because people trust the era? Is it because people trust the name Star Wars? Like, what was it about this that got it all the way to the top? I'm starting with you on this one, Lacey, since you're eager to get to the book content.
That's not true. This is a book that I still want to read.
I meant because of the last story, your transition.
Oh, yeah. So I still need to read this book. I haven't read it. I've watched James's book discussions on our YouTube channel about this book. It does sound interesting. I read that first excerpt that they released. So I still need to get into it, but I get that why this is up there on the list and is number 1. However, it's number 1 on the hardcover list, not the overall fiction list. The number 1 on the fiction list is Bridgerton, the Bridgerton novel from the series that is currently killing it on Netflix, which is, I feel, kind of another argument towards what John and I often say about the book stuff is when people see the movie, then they tend to go to the book as well. So it might have been cool if we did have something live action with this book at one point. Maybe we still will. But I'm interested to see what happens this coming week and if it stays in that spot or if it's just a premiere type release. But look, it means that we're going to get more Star Wars books. That's what this means to me. So congrats to the team, and I hope we get more.
Yeah. John, what do you think about Light of the Jedi? And I guess we could add in Test of Courage as well. It also debuted at a number 2 spot as
for
well.
Middle school readers, right?
Yes, yeah, for the category that it was entered into. We can throw that in there too. But Light of the Jedi, High Republic, what are you thinking?
I mean, that's good for them. I'm sure that they were pleased by those results, and it looks great in terms of, hey, look what we like Palpatine, look what you've made. Like,
John, do you know how many copies have to be sold for it to be number 1?
I don't know. And what's so funny, it is
more than number 2.
But I'm saying, like, what if it's like 5 books and number 2 sold 4 books?
Well,
I mean,
here's the
that can
thing.
happen.
It's very hard to find numbers on book sales. I've tried for years. I've talked to people who are like, do you know where's a good resource to find book sales? It's so hard to find them. It's not like movie box office. It's not like album record
I wonder
sales.
why that is.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. There's not a database the way there is for movies or for music.
Interesting.
Music's
don't-
hard too, man. It's not as hard probably as print, but I know
Today,
even
sure.
when I was in the industry, it was very difficult to get those numbers, and it usually felt like it was like booking agents and stuff who had those numbers. And it was always like this weird thing where people were like, yeah, I'll forward it to you. And then it just like, it never gets tossed around, but it,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I saw those numbers all the time because we would see like specific weeks of charts or whatever, but like it definitely is not something that a quick Google is just going to pull up like, oh, what was the number 1 album this week? Like it just is. And how many albums sold is specifically what we're looking at here.
I'm just curious because if it just premiered, right? It's the first book in this new era, Star Wars book, and Bridgerton beat it. Now, I know that Bridgerton is more like mainstream probably than this specific Star Wars book, but I'm curious in the number-wise what that is because Bridgerton has been around for a really long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but one thing that I do know about the publishing industry in terms of book releases, usually September is the prime time to release something that you believe in. That's the hot time to, just like with movies, it's, you know, May, June, that's summer.
Why is that? Back to school or?
Yeah, for the last quarter, for whatever reason, I've always understood that, having worked in the publishing industry, that, you know, last quarter, fall is the best time to sell books. I don't know if it's because it's the gift giving season too, or because schools are ramping up. It's all of that kind of put together. And I know with movies, they usually, I don't say the word dump, but they usually drop things that they're not completely behind in quarter 1, January, Feb. I don't know if that's the deal with books. I do know that the High Republic was pushed to January, and they say it was for certain other reasons, but it's possible they were like, you know what, we're not sure what we're getting here in terms of the action on social media or the responses to the free chapters, or the, you know, the teases that they were putting out and stuff. And, you know, this thing had been pushed for a while.
2 years.
And then they put it to, yeah, it was supposed to come out last year or something like that. And then,
It was supposed to come out originally. It was supposed to be all announced and everything in October. Then they pushed it to January. Then they pushed it to February. Then they pushed it to the summer. And then they pushed it to January.
So look, you know, and I say that not in a derisive way towards it. I just, from a factual standpoint of how the publishing industry works, I don't think there's a lot of competition right now of new stuff being put out. So yeah, it's number 1 hardcover fiction. That's great. But I don't know that it went up against a ton of new releases. I hope it does well because Charles Soule seems like a good guy. All these people put a lot of work into it. And I know a lot of the diehard Star Wars fans who like the books, even EU people are maybe dipping their toe into this, are into it. I'm not a big Star Wars canon book guy. I like my Star Wars visually, whether that's animated and live action. So I'm coming at it from the angle of the opposite of James, who loves the books. I'm giving my take on it from that person who's out there, kind of who aligns with me as a fan. The story, you know, I got all the stuff from you and Kyle in the What Happened in the Light of the Jedi, and great video, by the way. Go check it out on our channel, What Happened in Light of the Jedi. It's 22 minutes, and it really gives you all the bullets of what you need to know. It just seems tough that you're in this era where the Jedi are so prominent, and you have to create adversaries via things that aren't normal. And, like, you know, the first adversary are quite literally objects from this great disaster, and they need to figure out how to stop them. It's almost like, you know, Superman Returns, where his biggest adversary was a giant rock, and he had to lift it out and get rid of it. I don't know that I like that so much. I understand the Nile thing with these pirate factions, and that lead guy seems kind of dark and interesting. But I don't know that this is going to be for me. I'm going to keep up with this on what you guys put out on these spoiler things for canon implications, because I already hear names like Santeca, and that's interesting to me because the ties to like Alor Santeca and what happens with the Jedi and what this means leading up to that Acolyte series, so all that stuff. But I am supportive of Star Wars, because anytime Star Wars is successful, it makes the rest of Star Wars successful. So I am happy to see that it did well, for sure. I'll leave it there from my point of view.
I mean, like I hear all those points. When it comes to just Star Wars books in general, I feel like it's kind of one of those things where, like, for years the movies have always kind of defined what is like the mainline story for Star Wars, and they, like, when they introduced the High Republic, they introduced it as like, well, yeah, we got the movies, but then what? There was no TV shows, there were no additional movies, there was no like these big animated things that were driving the mainline big galactic wide stories. So generally all that stuff kind of fell onto the books. And ever since Disney reset everything, a lot of the books have been kind of delegated to backstories of characters and things. So you're going to get like, oh, we're doing a new novel, it's Phasma, it's her story, or it's Freefall. Here's the story of Poe in between this thing and this thing. And it tends to kind of just be more like ancillary stuff, and it hasn't really been anything that's been like big galactic issues or anything like that. And the High Republic is kind of, for the first time, able to be that, where they don't have to worry. They're letting the publishing side of Star Wars kind of handle the heavy lifting when it comes to what could potentially be these galactic wide problems in an entire era of the Star Wars galaxy. And everything's new. I mean, there are a couple things that carry over, like maybe characters that happen to have like long lifespans or whatever. But for the most part, when was the last time that we actually read a Star Wars book and we were like, hey, the main characters of this book, I like could die at any second. We don't know who's going to live, who's going to die, who the main characters are. And Light of the Jedi really does a good job at introducing you to a lot of ideas and a lot of different people. And then as some of those characters die, some of those people become leaders, some of those people become problematic. It really showcases that the High Republic is this new world that's completely new and fresh to Star Wars, and it's not going to be held down by being like, oh, Master and Apprentice is good, but I mean, I know that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan make it out of this, right? Not so sure about these other characters. But even when you look at something like Rebels, that was always kind of the question, is like, well, we know a lot of these characters either like just randomly go away or die because they're not in these movies or whatever. And High Republic doesn't have any of that. It goes back to being this new free storytelling adventure that you could kind of think of it as like the next step. So, I mean, maybe for your own mental thing, like forget that the High Republic is 200 years before and pretend that it's 200 years after. And this is what the Jedi have become, or whatever. However you want to look at it, it's all new characters, all new stories, and you have no clue how all this is going to pan out. So I don't know. It's interesting and it's cool, and it's a new era for Star Wars publishing. So I think you're right about them putting it in the weird category of like the best hardcover this week. Like it's the number one selling Star Wars book that came out this week.
All you need to know is tricky. That you post that number one and then don't follow. No one's following the asterisk, so you just got your number one. And you know what? Good for them though.
And I agree, and that is a feat. Don't get it wrong. We're not trying to downplay that award. You forever. Charles Soule will be a New York Times bestseller author, so that's great. But gladly, from my point of view, you wrote a good book too. So we're here to talk about it and stuff. So, anything else on Light of the Jedi or the High Republic?
Nope.
I want to, So, do you feel coming out of that book? Do you feel sold on these villains, the Nile or are you still kind of
No,
wait?
I'm definitely sold. Now, here's the thing: is like I'm kind of, like I have religious ties and stuff, and I kind of think about that thing when it comes to like what do these villains stand for.
Yeah.
And I kind of think it's problematic for on their code, because they're like, I only believe in myself and that's it. But also, we're all together, but we could turn on each other and stuff. And I that has always been weird to me, even with the Sith. Like, how do you trust your Sith apprentice when you know the goal is to try, that person's trying to kill you? Some of that stuff just doesn't work sometimes. But I can tell you this, Markian Ro, who is the leader of the Nile, is crazy. Like he seems, he has me excited, like when we first met Moff Gideon, in the sense that like I have this impression that this dude is dark, is pure evil, and has no code. He's nihilist,
Yeah, right.
the true sense of the thing. That is his morality. And he, the type of stuff that he does, planning all this out, is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we say their greatest object is a falling rock, but it's a falling rock that was planted there on purpose by Markian Ro, just so that he could eventually get back to that dude and make
it's very
sure that
James
dude died,
Bond to me. Like the guy that takes his teeth out. I forget which one. Skyfall, where he takes his teeth out and he's like in this whole plan the whole time just to get back at M's character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he I mean, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I mean, by the end of the book, you do realize that Markian Ro is a smarter villain than you think, and his ruthlessness is absolutely something to be feared. So I am pretty stoked on him and his group of people who are willing to die like that if they have to, just because it's part of the code. It's part of what they've been brainwashed into thinking.
You keep making those book discussion videos, and I'm gonna keep watching them, and I'm gonna stay up to date on what's going on with Loden Greatstorm, the adult film star of the High Republic.
Maybe Lacey will start doing game discussions.
I love that. I'm very excited about the next story, so go ahead.
So yeah, Lucasfilm is kind of, you would have maybe thought they were going to keep the LucasArts banner, but they have somewhat ditched that to go forward with Lucasfilm Games. They dropped a big sizzle reel that talks about, hey, showcases, these are the games that we have done in the past that have been under, certain game developer companies. But from now on, what we're announcing is that EA is not going to be the exclusive developer for Star Wars anymore, and we are getting ready to create an open world Star Wars game with the brand Ubisoft. Now, this also comes along with other announcements too. We're not a Indiana Jones podcast, but hey, Lucasfilm is branching out, and they are going to be talking, they're going to be doing more with some of their other properties as well. So Willow fans, just keep crossing your fingers.
Yeah.
No, but no, this was a big deal. I saw a lot of like, I am ready to be disappointed again from people as we move into the possibility that like the 1313 or any of these random games that we've been teased in the past might actually happen as they move forward with a different brand and just say, this is you. We're giving it all to you. You don't have to worry about Fallen Order and Battlefront and Squadrons and all that other stuff. This is just for you. Do it and do it well. Lacey, let's get into it. What do you think? Ubisoft.
So first of all, EA Star Wars did come out and do a little tweet where they kind of teased that they're working on Jedi Fallen Order 2 and things are still going. Because I know a lot of people are questioning, what does this mean for that game? That game's still happening.
And Battlefront 3.
Yes.
They teased that as well.
Ready to kill some people. All right. Battlefront 3, I'm so excited about. And now that John has a PS4, I can't wait to kill him in it. It's gonna be so fun.
Can you do crossplay on Battlefront?
What do you mean? Oh,
I have
between
a PC.
platforms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I blanked for a second. I remembered that. I was like, wait, you have a PS4, but you have a PC. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think the PS5 was the one that you could, and I don't have that, and I probably won't have that for a while.
I gotta buy Battlefront. I gotta try that one out.
You should come over. We can play now that you are all good.
Yeah.
So
I've been playing Battlefront. I just started and it's great. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's so fun.
You need to clarify what all good means. People are gonna think that I had like scurvy. Something.
You got a negative COVID test. All good.
That's right, I did. Negative COVID test. Very big news.
That was a happy for you moment.
No, I know.
There was no vindictive comment there.
No, I know.
So
COVID free.
Lucasfilm Games. Cool title. Okay, I know a lot of people had comments about Lucasfilm Arts. Just, it doesn't matter. It's just so that they all match. Just let it happen. The open world Star Wars game is super interesting to me because that is something that I feel like all different types of gamers can play, which is what excites me because you have people that love Squadrons and you have people that love Battlefront and you have people like Jedi Fallen Order. Open world is, in a way, more open so that multiple different types of gamers can get involved. You can go on quests. You can, focus on building your Tatooine hut. Like it could be whatever you want it to be. And that to me is super exciting because we haven't really seen that recently. So I'm excited to see what they come up with. I think that could be really, really fun. And I love the idea of like customizing your character and picking where you fall in the story and, making different groups of people play together, but then you can like meet other people. Like that's exciting.
Are you gonna do like Dwight Schrute and just make Second Life
Lacey?
Like, just you? It's actually you in this.
I'm a podcaster.
You're just a podcaster in the Star Wars galaxy who's collecting a bunch of things from the galaxy.
Yeah.
Dwight side of the Force.
Yeah.
But I am super obviously excited for Battlefront 3. That's probably a little bit above the open world stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's crazy when I think about Battlefront 3 because I'm like,
you just got Battlefront 2.
Oh, well, I know, but I'm thinking like, are you going to improve the graphics and then
they're going to add
still have
Mandalorian.
all the same? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to do. Add Mandalorian, and depending on when it comes out, they could add Kenobi, they could add Cassian. I could see a really cool Mandalorian level, like the level with the Ahsoka level with the base and then the woods. That's a perfect level cool. Where you have people on the wood side and people on the base side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too, because I'm new to it, and I feel like I've seen like Solo, like young Han Solo in the game too.
But
Am
no
I crazy?
Solo levels. Yeah, no, there is a skin for young Han Solo, but there's no, I believe, levels for that. So that could be another one that's really cool. Like the moving train could be a really cool level or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Vandor, just like outside of where the ship is and stuff.
Right. Or the Kessel. The Kessel mines would be a great one where you have one team start in the mines and then one team starts outside.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, John. What do you think about the fact that they are finally kind of breaking? They're not breaking ties completely. They're not breaking up with EA, but they have decided that they're expanding to other game developers. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Bad idea?
I'm an OG LucasArts fan. I used to play all those DOS games like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. I know a lot of our fans that's ringing their head right now, firing up the DOS code in your old PC to
John. That was actually supposed to be the fourth movie. Script.
Yeah. I remember playing that game. That was a lot of fun. Like Day of the Tentacle was a LucasArts game, which was like a sequel to like Maniac Mansion. I absolutely love that game. All down the line, all those games. So
everyone take a shot. John just said all down the line.
I'm really excited about the Indiana Jones game. I'm absolutely going to get that and play that, especially with today's graphics. Playing an Indiana Jones game sounds like it'd be a lot of fun with the type of things that they can do with just the supernatural elements of Indiana Jones in that sort of, every man, but he's some sort of superhero setting. I absolutely love that. And I'm sure they'll make the likeness look just like Harrison Ford and all that. So And then the other aspect, the open world thing, I agree with Lacey. Like some of my favorite video games, like the last video game I played before I got my PS4 was on my PS3 was Arkham City, Batman. And you can go anywhere and do anything you want. If you just want to prowl rooftops and beat the piss out of scumbag villains, you can just do that. And maybe I want to be
Spider-Man 2, you could just swing around.
Yeah, like maybe I just want to be like, oh, I want to be, a Han Solo and just go into cantinas and start some trouble. Like
that would be fun. Yeah.
Why not? Flip a coin to the bartender and be like, all right, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm done playing now. Like, I love the idea. Because that's what Star Wars should be.
That's the thing about old games is they're like, you don't know what to do? Go to the right. Like, that was it. That was all there was.
Grand Theft Auto. Like,
we were just talking about that recently. That game is still the #1 game.
I love just stealing an ice cream truck or something, throwing that guy on the ground, running him over, and then getting in trouble.
John.
Like I don't even care about the story. Like I try to get the 5 stars on me with the helicopters and stuff.
Do you guys remember when I quizzed you on how much money Grand Theft Auto 5 had made?
Well, that's what I was saying, is that we just recently talked about this. It was like billions, right? 6 billion, 25 billion.
Yeah, like insane amounts of money. Like take the biggest movie franchises you can think of and like set them to the side for a minute.
Long story short, I'm all in on those types of games. Like I tried Squadrons. It's really intimidating. It's very busy. It's very tough. I'm going to keep trying to play it. I still have to start Fallen Order. I want to do the story mode on that. But the open world stuff, I always love that because you do what you want to do at your own pace. And if you want to dive into the story, you dive into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the Indiana Jones thing, like that, I always can say like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, it's always going to be hand in hand because of the George Lucasfilm ties. So I've always been just as much of an Indiana Jones fan as I am a Star Wars fan, and I'm just so excited for that too. So this made me really happy, and especially just getting that PS4, maybe getting back into gaming, and this is like the less intimidating stuff. Now I don't know when it's coming out, but as long as my son doesn't destroy my PS4, I'll have it, and then I can play these games.
Yep, definitely excited. And John, I think you should maybe not start with Squadrons. Squadrons is something that I feel like you have to be like, I am pumped on this and I am going to get into it, because you're right. It's very overwhelming. There are a lot of controls. Like I remember you described one time, you were like, do I push A, B, or C or something? It's like on the Genesis controller, but nowadays you're looking at it and you have to do like all these combinations in order just to turn to the left or barrel or something.
I feel like it'd be easier to actually fly a Boeing 747
potentially. So I would suggest if you want to start with Fallen Order or go out and get Battlefront, man, because I know I mean I don't know about like specifics, but like I think like it was just recently free too. Like I don't know if that was
and
like
it
for
also
PC
teaches
or something,
you. That works too. It teaches you, just the basic controls of like joysticks and where to look versus running versus they're generally all the same. So if you start on an easier game.
Mm-hmm.
I found Jedi Fallen Order a little hard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it's a lot of stuff you have to remember.
Garbage.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to a different podcast and they were talking about the difficulty level. And one person was like, it's really hard. And the other person's like, the game's boring. And what they came down to was that the other person thought it was boring because they were playing on like super easy. So they were like, I feel like I just run into people and that's all this
Button
game
mash,
is.
Yeah.
But the guy who said he was playing it on a harder mode said he enjoyed it because every time he went into a battle, he had to like think it out and like say, oh, I know how to fight these guys. I have to go up with this particular type of a pattern and watch for their mistakes and stuff like that.
Right.
And the other guy's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'll just take boring.
Give me the middle setting, like the intermediate.
Yeah. I think that's we have a lot to look forward to when it comes to games. We have a couple of the stories that we wanted to get to before we shut down the Resistance Report. And that is number one, that Kevin Kiner did confirm with Star Wars Newsnet that he is indeed scoring the Bad Batch. Not a crazy out of the ordinary story. We didn't get Giacchino, but now Kevin Kiner has been a long time composer of the animated stuff, and this is going to be no different. So if you liked how all that other stuff turned out, you can expect the same from Bad Batch. He will be back. So thank you for confirming that with our team.
There was a tweet from Kiner Brothers last summer that said we're excited for the Bad Batch or something, that people considered that a confirmation. It's not a verified account. They have like 300 followers. It might be officially connected with him or actually connected with him. But the fact, we did reach out based on that report that had come out from Score. I forget what the website was, filmscore.com or something. And they just got back to us. They said, yep, Kevin is doing it. And like you said, it's, we're going to get into some safe bets on Thursday's episode, but Kevin Kiner and Star Wars Animated, and we had him on the show. As long as he's around, he's doing it.
I was going to say, if you love Kevin Kiner, check out a previous episode where we interviewed him.
Yeah.
Good guy. Nice guy.
The other thing that I wanted to mention was that while talking to Variety, Kevin Feige addressed his upcoming Star Wars movie and the state that it's in right now. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We're thinking that that is everything you've heard about Michael Waldron," which we talked about that earlier, side note. Not earlier, but earlier recently. Last week, has been leaked. So that's not official information or true is even what he's saying. He says it was just leaked. It's not stuff that we've officially announced or gotten into. So suffice to say, the focus is all on the number of Marvel things we're working on. The what, where, and how of that Star Wars movie, I don't know. I'm excited for the Book of Boba Fett and the Rogue One show and the Obi-Wan show and Patty Jenkins' movie and Taika's movie. Of course, after Love and Thunder, of course. So yeah, there's kind of a lot to take away from that. But the general thing here is that, yes, he's working on it. Yes, he's excited about it, but it may be kind of held up or maybe it's just like not right in front of them right now. There's a lot that's still ahead. And he's just excited to see where Star Wars goes and eventually they'll wedge themselves in there in some way or another.
Good for him. Although I wish he would have said like, yeah, it leaked because people don't know how to hold on to information. I really wish leaking would stop. I feel like it's like people like Kevin Feige kind of expects it, I feel, especially with Marvel stuff. I feel like it's grating on these people. I feel like it's really like, come on, guys, like, let the process be a process. It doesn't have to be like, you don't need to know every single detail along the way.
There's a funny thing about, like controlled leaks, like, and Lacey and I maybe even, overheard a conversation once about, we're going to give this info to you to feed, your itch and, but this we're going to put through the main site. And, there's certain elements too. They want mediums that aren't just, that aren't just their brand to reach people that aren't dialed in as diehards. And I get that. But there's certain things obviously like, Baby Yoda, Favreau was like, we were so nervous. The
Luke thing. I felt like
the Luke thing.
The Favreau interview in the fall where he discussed with GMA about how they were so nervous Luke was going to get out. That should be enough for people to be like, is it really worth that retweet that you shared that information? Couldn't you see it on his face that he was nervous and like really unhappy?
Right.
It drives me nuts.
The other thing, James, about this Feige thing is...
Well, I was going to add that.
Oh, go ahead.
Before we close. Yeah. I mean, if it is, in fact, the same thing, to wrap up Resistance Report, the last thing that he added was he was asked directly about his involvement in any of the other Star Wars projects besides the movie he is producing. So are you involved with Andor? Are you involved with Obi-Wan? Are you involved with Visions or Mandalorian, Lando, Rangers of the New Republic? Not at all. That's a quote. Not at all.
And I take that as a staunch true. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And also that question isn't about, that question's about, are you taking over Kathleen Kennedy's job? That's what that question is.
You think so? Interesting.
Yeah. Because there's always those. All right, so those situations always come up. Whether it's a casting thing, whether
Let
it's
me tell you,
a casting thing, a production thing, where one idea is thrown out by somebody and then everybody comes up with that idea themselves too, and it's like, yep, that thing. So like the Tom Hiddleston as young Palpatine, or
Which
Sebastian Stan
I thought
as
up
Luke.
on my own.
Robert Downey Jr. is Thrawn.
This person should take over this. It's like Kevin Feige taking over Lucasfilm is the lazy, everyone throwing that out there, what should happen thing. And that would be such a stupid thing for Disney to do, because why would you try to change, like say they want to change the direction of Lucasfilm, why would you want to do that by hurting your other major property by pulling Kevin away from that? Marvel,
Some might argue the more popular property.
it is. It's 100% right now. Marvel's 100% more popular. And that's working so well right now. You don't screw with that, especially in this climate where Disney is bleeding money.
They just got rid of the annual pass holder program. I was
he just
shocked by
signed
that.
his extension with them. Like, he's not leaving Marvel, and they're not going to give him Lucasfilm and have him stay in his capacity at Marvel. So if Kathleen Kennedy leaves at the end of this year, which I still think she might, on her own volition, she's getting up there, and maybe she's like, I've done enough. I don't need to do this anymore. I'm gonna go sip on coconuts on a beach. But say she wants to keep working, or she's just done with Star Wars, whatever. Kevin Feige's not going to take over Lucasfilm. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Well, that is it for the Resistance Report. Let's get into the next section. Lacey, what do you got?
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So there are lots of different ways that you can support us. You can like this video, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for heading to Instagram. We're growing over there. It's so exciting. But if you want more than that and more content, mailings, chats, etc., you can head over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast. Starting at $2 a month and going on up in the tiers, you not only get more access and more videos and more content from us, you support the show. You help us do what we like to do and help us accomplish our goals as Star Wars creators. So we want to give a special shout out to our generals, which is our top tier. So thank you, Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, Neil Shaw, David Probus, John Reese, I'm going to have to take breaths now, Micah Harrison, Jetta Rosewater, Michael Gaines, Bethany, Russ Harbison, Kendall Gelnar, Paul Olson, Jake Hutchins. That's right? Hutchins. Jeff, he said how to say this. Jeff Connery?
Yes.
Oliver Lewis, Dave Hornack, and Val Trichkoff. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means so much to us. And this week we have General Jeremy. And we asked him, which, by the way, the point of this segment, I should have said that, is to give them a chance to be a part of the show. So we asked them a question, they give us an answer, and we talk about it. So the question was, would you prefer Boba Fett's primary adversary or adversaries be characters or a character we know of someone new? Oh, we know or someone new in the Book of Boba Fett. So Jeremy, take it away.
Hey, what's up, TRB family? Hope you guys are all well and Happy New Year. Just here recovering. So, gotta say, I'm not familiar with the characters from the Boba Fett book. Never read it, so don't know much about what's going on there. And I don't really want to see anybody old per se. I'd love to see it new. And make it new and fresh. I think that's what's working so well with The Mandalorian, is that they're using new faces, but using the old storyline. And I think that could definitely be the way that this franchise goes in the future, especially for these shows, to keep it successful and draw in more fans and, create new things. I mean, Grogu was a hit, so you could have the next big thing come from the Boba Fett series. And but yeah, that's where I'm at. Hope you guys are all well. General Jeremy out.
All right, Jeremy, good job. John, what did you think of his answer?
Interesting. I wasn't sure. I'm having a hard time predicting these lately. Mm-hmm. I do like the aspect of not wanting to see old characters show up as your main adversary. So I think I agree with him there. I don't mind seeing some of the old bounty hunters show up as supporting parts, whether that's with Boba Fett or against him. I think that'd be cool. I do think they're going to bring Boskin in some way or another. We've been talking about that because he's been one of those ideas that's been around since Solo, and they're trying to get Bosk back in the mix. But I don't know that I want to see Bosk be a main adversary to Boba Fett, because I think it'd be cooler for him to face off against someone new. Because Boba Fett's the known character. Let's parallel that on the other side of the aisle with someone new. So I agree with you there, Jeremy. I think you nailed it there. And you said you're on the mend, or or whatever's happening. So you look well. You look okay. You're not dealing with the frigid tundra that I am here. So that's good. But hope you and the fam are well. Thanks for all your support, my man. And we'll talk soon.
James?
Thank you for the pod race, man. I think you did a good job. As far as your answer goes, yeah, I think that's right. I know that recently in the Discord chat that we have for our Patreon, we were talking about, the dismissal of 1313 and what that means for that game that never really got to be. And I remember suggesting something that I think a lot of people took to, which is like, hey, like, Lucasfilm was working on this, and it was something that they put a lot into. It's not to say that it's completely abandoned. They may go back to this stuff and say, hey, we wanted to do this. Let's pull these characters. Let's pull these ideas. Let's pull these locations. And in this case, maybe what was planned to be like something really cool for 1313 makes sense in the first ever live action Boba Fett show. Since that game was really supposed to revolve around that character. So I think maybe when it comes to something brand new, it'll be new to us, I think is a good option. But yeah, I think that your answer as far as being new to us, new faces, and not being just a character that we've seen in the past, like as John was saying, like Bosk, like just another random character, I think is a good idea. So good on you, good ideas. I'm with you. Then thanks again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremy. We really appreciate you. We're glad that you're doing well. You are a part of the TRB family, so thank you so much for supporting us, and you gave a really good answer. I agree with you that I really hope it's someone new. I want new stuff. That being said, now we're going to go to hear from the rest of the community and ask the resistance. John?
It is time for...
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know. I'm doing a Lacey Gillerin thing. Yeah, it's Ask Resistance time.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
All right. Questions. We usually, at some point during the week, pitch for questions. And sometimes you just send them in. If you use the hashtag Ask the Resistance, is a better, easier way for us to find them. I know sometimes we see questions and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. But the hashtag's not there, and then it gets lost in the sauce. So use hashtag Ask the Resistance.
Lost in the sauce?
Lost in the sauce. You never heard that before?
No.
Like, cooks at restaurants.
That's not a Johnism. That's a thing.
Oh.
It is. And you find like a Band-Aid or like a rubber band in your soup or something.
Ew, what?
It gets lost in the sauce.
Gross.
And then not to be found till later. So this is where we're at. So use the hashtag and we'll find them and we'll get you on the show like these folks did. So Lacey, we'll start with you.
What?
Yeah, not lost in the sauce. Lacey Gillerin. Jonathan at obwalk_Kenobi. Yo, what if Bungie and Lucasfilm Games teamed up and made a Star Wars Clone Wars type of game, but Halo style? So, Lacey, I know you are familiar with these types of games, so you are a great person to tackle this. What's the deal?
Hi, Jonathan. First of all, I love your name, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not Obwalk, as John just slaughtered.
How do you spell Obi-Wan?
I guarantee it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Then why isn't Obi-I?
Because you don't spell Ewok with an I.
Oh, it's Obi-Walk, so he's saying like Obi-Wan and an Ewok?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought he was like a like a
No.
Japanese chef.
What? Shut up. All right.
What did you say, John? Ewok?
He
I
said
said-
Ob Ewok Kenobi.
I said I said Obwalk.
Obwalk. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's definitely a 3-syllable like Ob-Ewok.
I didn't pick
Like
up
you're
the
mixing
Ewok
the two
thing.
together.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan. This is a great question, and I truly love it. In my tiered video game category, I have Sonic to Sega Genesis is number 1, Mario Kart N64 number 2, and number 3 is basically all the Halos. Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach was okay. So I would love if they did something like this, but I feel like Halo style game is Battlefront. That's basically what Battlefront is an FPS type shooting game. So, I would totally appreciate anything Bungie does. So I'd be on board automatically, but I feel like you're just getting Battlefront, which can't wait for Battlefront 3. Bye. That's it. That's my answer.
All right. I've never played Halo. So
Halo is so good.
I know, but
Playing with friends and stuff?
Oh my gosh.
no,
I used to
is it-
play in college like
Really?
crazy in
So
high
crazy.
school.
is it like it's like Call of Duty but in space? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Master Chief,
Nice.
Cortana.
I mean, it's a first-person shooter, but
Well,
that's about
I
where the
mostly play.
similarities to Call of Duty end.
I'm saying in the sense of what the game is. So the game is a guy in a helmet in a suit that goes
Totally.
and kills aliens. So Star Wars in Battlefront, it's the same thing. You choose a character that you want to play, you play on maps, and you kill each other.
All right.
Not story mode. I'm talking multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. I learned something today. James Shuldog at J Shuldog, I think I said that one right. Wants to know, what are the
Obi-Wan.
chances we get to see Vader's castle on Mustafar once again in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series?
This is a popular question.
Yeah, Sholdog, it's a great question. I truly love it. What are the chances we see Vader's castle on Mustafar again? I think 100%. I think I had to look at the dates, but Vader was offered the ability to build a castle in 12 BBY, and Obi-Wan takes place, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, will take place in 9 BBY. So I think the same way that I... What?
ABY, right?
BBY.
Oh, you're right, BBY. What is wrong
Right.
with
It's
that?
not Yavin yet.
Yeah.
So my thought was
Gotta go to sleep.
I was disappointed that when we saw Rogue One, that going into episode 8, Vader's castle was not just like right there. You had to, and they were going to send Kylo Ren back to it. I feel like that was a little bit of a missed thing, but at the same time, like what they did was fine. But what I'm saying is, I think the opportunity to bring this back in live action form is really cool. And now that we know that Hayden Christensen is returning and Darth Vader is going to be a prominent character in this movie, and you got to think like indoor close quarters is usually easier to shoot and stuff. So there's so many things that point to this absolutely is just going to happen. And being able to see that, and potentially my bigger question, to be honest with you, just throw it out there, because Fallen Order, like, are we going to get to see that side planet with the Inquisitorious like base and all that? Like that would be amazing. And I don't know if they'll go that route, but Vader's castle, definitely getting it.
Nice. Yeah, and they have, those digital assets from Rogue One that they can probably plug in.
So you're booking it?
James, you booking that?
They already have the Vader castle skin available on download. Just click the button and it's like, there it is in the background.
Look, that'd be cool, man. All right. Next up, we have Shannon Smith at Scuttlebutter SS.
Where you
what's
been,
up, Shannon? Yeah, Shannon, where
Yeah.
have you been? How are you doing? It's good to see you back.
Scuttle butter.
There's been a lot of people who like disappeared, and I hope they're okay.
Welcome back to
I-
2021, Shannon.
I just
Smith.
wish the 2 S's were at the beginning so she was a boat.
The SS
SS
Scuttle butter.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah. All right, Shannon Smith. I'm assuming the SS stands for Shannon Smith. what are the chances?
Next time she comes on the show, it's going to be switched. You know that, right? It's going to be the SS Scuttlebutter.
SS Scuttlebutter. Pretty good. Chances Lando ends with a Solo 2 announcement like Book of Boba Fett after The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Now, this...
that's a good question.
John's got to reset his hat with this question.
This I found so...
Straighten it.
There's a certain amount that gets it perfect when it's just above the eyebrows. I got to get that right.
I just noticed that when you're about to make an important point, that's when you reset your hat.
You got to reset the hat. This is... When I saw this, I was like, oh, man. Because then you start getting your hopes up and you start picturing it and imagining it the same way we felt watching that Book of Boba Fett clip.
Or the Disney Investor Day.
Yeah, and it's... That would be so cool. It just really depends on when they're setting this Lando series because they haven't really established that, let alone officially announced Donald Glover. So if it does, there's rumors that L3 is going to be in it. Or did they say? I don't think they said L3 was going to be in it. I think there are rumors that L3 is going to be in it, which would mean it predates Solo. So that would make it hard for me to see it. Being teased for Solo 2 because then Solo has to happen first. So but if this is a thing that bounces around kind of like Last Shot did and we get maybe some L3 and then they flash forward and then you see what Lando's up to after losing the Falcon and they did that, oh god, I'd be so friggin' emotional about that. So the chances of it happening, low, very low, as I think with everything with Solo right now. But man, that is such a good question, Shannon. It's such a
the
good
chances
idea.
are so low.
So low. Oh, this guy. All right. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a great question. I would love it, Shannon. I would. I know you would too. So I know everyone out there would. That be, and if they could keep that a surprise, oh my God, would that be amazing? So the only reason why I'm going to lean towards no's because I don't want to get my hopes up. That's all. But anyway, great question. Last one, guys, real quick. Count Pepto has changed his name to Captain Pepto. He's a patron of ours. This guy is he's a funny dude. But he
I think he's
submitted this
Duke
via
Pepto.
Duke Pepto.
It's an inside joke.
If you're a patron of TRB, you know from one of our poll chats what the deals with this conversation. But anyway, he submitted this via Patreon and said simply, "Whose lightsaber is your favorite and why?" And I will guess that Lacey's is Rey's new one, and I will guess that James' favorite lightsaber is Kanan Jarrus's, and I'm correct, right?
I was going to say his is Cal's.
I don't know that I have one.
So I was going to say Kylo Ren because I don't own the yellow one yet. But if we're talking just by looks, Rey's yellow one. It turns on so cool.
I have a lot of different reasons why I like specific lightsabers. Like color would be one, and I'm like, okay, but are we talking hilt here, And then when you start to get into hilt, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, but I would hate that lightsaber if I owned it.
Yeah, Leia's has got the coolest hilt, but I wouldn't want to, you dropped it, you'd be like, oh.
It looks like the
feel
body
like
of a
they're
lamp
not
in my
comfortable
grandma's
to hold.
I'm sorry, what, John? What did you
Leia's
say?
lightsaber hilt looks like those old lady lamps like your grandma has at her house. Take Leia's lightsaber.
It's beautiful. It's rose gold, though.
So's grandma's lamp.
Rose gold is in right now, John.
Set the lightsaber vertically, put a lampshade on it. Tell me that's not a lamp from your grandma's house.
Which one did you say was your favorite, John?
I didn't pick yet.
What is yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was Obi-Wan's, which is the same exact hilt as Luke's green lightsaber. Fun fact.
Yes.
But I have recently made a switch from blue to green lightsabers.
So
really?
Luke's?
So I'm going with Luke's Return of the Jedi and The Mandalorian and Beyond lightsaber. I think.
Nice.
Because that hilt, its grip, it's very you feel like you can really get a hold of that thing. Whereas
it's cool because it goes in and then.
I don't like the Skywalker lightsaber because of all the ridges. That's I feel like that would slip out of my hand at the bottom.
That's what I was gonna say earlier. Is I think the most classic lightsaber is that one, and it's the worst one. I would hate that one if it
your
was
hand
mine.
is loose around it.
I like the top of it. how it comes out
Yeah.
way more than like the Obi-Wan one that you're describing,
That's
where it's
fair.
like got that
That's
weird
fair.
thing at the
Yeah.
like it looks like a capital I and stuff. Yeah, I don't like that. But I hate the bottom of it. I feel like mine would be like this super like
Yours is the
grippable
wood
one
one.
or something.
That's
yeah,
your
I like that
favorite.
one. I like the look of that one, but I don't know that I would like really want to. I mean, I can tell you, I could show you mine. You know, I picked it specifically because I like the looks of it.
I went to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Pick up the lightsaber book because they have so many in there to choose from. It starts to get like hard to pick.
When
And
are
I
they
think
gonna
that's
make
where
the
I'm at.
yellow one? What are they waiting for? What are you waiting for?
I hope they make it just so you stop asking.
Why don't you shut up and do the outro?
Oh my god. Oh. All right. That takes us to the end of this one. I want to thank everyone for listening and watching and being a part of the Resistance. Shout out to everybody who has just joined us recently. We've seen a lot of growth on our audio platforms, especially Spotify. If
It's
you
the
like
chemistry.
the audio,
Me telling you to
it's
shut up.
definitely, you can't fake it. You cannot fake chemistry, folks. You can't do it. If you are an audio listener, you prefer audio, Spotify is my favorite. I absolutely love it. It's so streamlined and quick. You go on there, play. It's not slow and clunky. But if you prefer visual and you're watching us, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with a friend. Either way, we are on all the platforms, so just make sure you do subscribe because we're with you twice a week, and we have more fun stuff coming. And we're gonna have some streams coming up down the line too, I'm sure. So
Take a shot.
take a shot. Go to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You guys know where to pick up our merch. I have our new logo. I finally got it, guys. I finally got
Yay.
I upgraded
Hey, there it is.
to the new logo. I love this shirt. And I think that is it for all the plug type stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, tweeting very deep cuts. I'm a deep cut tweeter. And if you want to listen to me ramble about other movies, tomorrow I have a podcast coming out just on The Big Lebowski. My movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. So go to anchor.fm/justlikethemovies and subscribe if you like me talking about non-Star Wars stuff. James?
I don't got nothing. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Meyer Trunks. I guess if you're just now catching up on Light of the Jedi or Test of Courage, and you want to check out the book discussions, we got those available as we talked about a little earlier in the show. So go and check those out if you want a little bit more. If you've read it now you want someone to talk to, come talk to us. Leave a comment, like anything like that. Yeah, I'd love to have you.
Lacey?
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin, but you can also find the Resistance broadcast on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast. So we post stuff on there, including episodes and teasers and stuff like that. So make sure to give us a like.
Post stuff on there for us.
Okay, John, way to make it weird. And if you're watching the episode or you're reacting to it, tag us in your stories and we'll share them. We love to see what you guys think. I love seeing pictures of you guys wearing our t-shirts or sharing your cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, just give us a tag. We're growing on there. We really appreciate it. And we do a lot of contests and stuff. So I'm trying to give you a heads up that you might want to follow soon. That was a weird wink. You might want to follow soon.
Do it again?
Nope, not going to do it again.
I do love anytime I see someone wearing our stuff at Galaxy's Edge. I know, like Bethany just did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
So did
yeah.
Double C, I believe.
Yes, and Chris White did. A lot of people do it. Thank you guys so much. That's so cool. And I hope people ask you about it and you tell them come check out TRB. All right. So Thursday,
Wait.
guys.
Hashtag lost in the sauce. If you made it this far.
Is that the comment?
That's
Lost
a good
in the
one.
Sauce?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's good. I like that.
Thanks. I'm the creative brains behind the operation.
You just heard of it tonight for the first time.
Yeah, if you want to comment with creative brains, do that too.
Yeah.
So Thursday, we're going to do something a little different in our discussion. We're going to do something about safe bets. So just try to figure what that is in your own head.
Lacey's
and we'll get
always
into
right.
that on Thursday. So enjoy your weeks. We'll see you Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.